Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Live. Now, four female identifying photographers, Simphiwe Thabede, Tsholofelo Kodisang, Lusanda Mdluli, and Fiona Dahvana worked on an exhibition titled Your Beauty is My Concern as a response to Dahlia Maubane's Woza Sisi documentary project. The entire body of work has made it possible to have a conscious and compassionate conversation with people from all over the hair care industry and beyond. Now, co-founder of Woza Sisi Dahlia and two photographers, Simphiwe and Lusanda, are in studio to tell us more. Dahlia, good morning. Ladies, in fact, good morning, all of you.
Good morning.
Dahlia, I want to start with you. Let's give people a brief background on what Woza Sisi is about.
Oh, wow. So it's been 10 years in the making. It's been a while. So Woza Sisi was just me exploring Joburg CBD. You know, you've seen like when you walk through, I mean, from Bree till Noord, the ladies on the corners in the intersections. Woza Sisi, Woza nice, trying to like make a buck from doing your hair. So that was me just walking. And then I got intrigued by how they position themselves in the city and how also the ecosystems that happen around it. You know, there's informal traders all around. So how do they function and how do they position themselves, where they're from? So I started off just like taking portraits of them in the backdrop of the Joburg, how the hustle and bustle and how they just how they are in that space, right? And yeah, it was it was hard to enter, so you know, it was an exchange. It was just me not going there just to go photograph and then disappear. I formed relationships with the women over the 10 years. I've had several exhibitions with the support of the Market Photo Workshop. I've also exhibited internationally at Amsterdam, also in Nigeria. So it's been a long body of work where I'll just go into the space, photograph women, and then go back and just show people how it operates. And I mean, we're here today.
Yeah. I mean, and 10 years later, it feels like it was just the other day when we're talking about this, when these women, you had to approach them and they were a bit apprehensive right at the beginning. You know what I mean? When you look at it now, what are some of the things that you say, okay, but this I did right? Do you know what I mean? And why do you think it took off so much?
I think it's passion. I think also the way I am, I'm very empathetic. Also, like how it started, I had to go back. I think more recently I had to think about it, reflect about it more when I did my master's studies. And I worked closely with 4 women, Squeezer, O's Beauty. I mean, for the 2 years that I was with them, they kind of also photographed, so I gave them cameras where I was not only telling their story, they were also telling their story. So we'd come back, regroup, let's look at your pictures, tell us how it is on the streets. And a lot of themes came up. So themes that necessarily that I didn't pick up when I was photographing over the years, but they went and they were like safety concerns, like how it is operating alongside the JMPD, how they negotiate all those tussles with them. So I think for me, it made sense when I started inviting them, when I invited them to kind of share their story as well. I think that was the turning point for us. Like a lot of nice stories came out of it and it touched my heart. And I mean, the culmination of it was, when was it? Last year, when I had my exhibition after 2 years of doing deep research with them.
I want to bring Simphiwe and Lusanda into this conversation. Talk to us about Beauty is My Concern. How does this all fit into Dahlia's work?
Your beauty is my concern. I bet you also think that the whole show is just about hair, but it's basically about women sharing their experiences and insights about being a woman, negotiating space, as Dahlia has mentioned, with her Woza Sisi project. So we were called to respond to the project itself and other underlying issues that women face, especially black women, knowing that black women in the arts and academia and sports, we always have to prove ourselves and, you know, make it a point that we make ourselves visible, you know. So Your Beauty is My Concern is an exhibition, just as you mentioned, 4 female identifying photographers, myself, Lusanda included, Tsholofelo Kodisang and Fiona Dahvana, where we all kind of like given ourselves into the narrative, responding to Dahlia's narrative. So Lusanda will speak for herself. With my work, Mina, I was extending on what Dahlia has done before, and as a person, I'm not really familiar with, you know, spaces that deal with hair and that kind of stuff. So I also decided to go into that. And Mangfiga in those kind of spaces, I learned to see it's not what they seem to be, which is just a salon. These squeeze a small Woza Sisi. There are a lot of other things that are happening there, you know, that we can speak about. So, Mina, in response to that, I made collages, as you can see. I made collages from the actual photographs that I had taken in the spaces that I was negotiating my own presence there. So the collages for me, they're kind of like a reconstruction of ideas around migration, black women, navigating and negotiating space, and just the whole lot that has to do with being, you know, woman and standing your ground. Yeah.
Let's bring Lusanda into this conversation. I mean, talk to us about your interpretation of this work and how you saw it fit.
So we were given keywords to respond to belonging, migration, and other keywords. So my response is I photographed Abo Baba Bomshanelo who move around Ekasi selling brooms and other domestic supplies. So I look at them because I also have issues with my identity document, you know, and there's an assumption that Abo Baba Bomshanelo, they are undocumented. So I was looking at how they navigate space, how they move around without these legal documentations that are required when you trying to move around the system.
And what came out of that theme? You talked about how you also had issues with your identity, but what are the similar spaces that you both navigate with these? When I was growing up, it was Mkozi. You know, they had Mafielo on top of their heads with a big dish on it. What were some of the themes that were explored with this, and how did you identify with them?
I guess I was looking at, you know, you know, Abantu say that these people who come from Mozambique and they're here to steal jobs and stuff. So I was looking at Uti, they are creating their own jobs and they have like a system to navigate the system. So I was really interested in that. I mean, Dahlia, talk to us about the similarities around these. You know, somewhere in there, at least for me, I'm seeing an identity thing, a theme that runs through. What are you seeing as the theme that runs across all their works?
Sure. So also because then I had to design the book, and then I think mostly, even excluding the sessions that we had, because we had peer mentoring sessions where we were back and forth developing their bodies of work. But I think it solidified it when I was creating the body of the book, and I had to insert myself in their body. Like with my archive of images since 2012 till last year, I had to be like, okay, Lusanda's dealing with marketing, advertising, striking images that we see. You know, when you go there and they're like, oh, no, I want this hairstyle. And it's like Rihanna. So most of her work had those things. So I had to kind of like draw, draw inspiration. Yes, from
stitching the whole narrative together.
And then I think also Lusanda's work, Abumkozi, you know, like we all call people my friend because we don't know them. So it was similar as well with the ladies having to, I mean, they're migrants as well, some of them that we've interacted with, and how, you know, it just exists. You know, you don't want to go and photograph them because then they're scared of, you're going to expose me.
Exactly.
So I think, it was quite a nice roundabout. And I think with one of the images that I also photographed, I saw a person, like I was focusing on a lady sitting and doing hair on the streets. And there's a guy, Abumkozi, holding a broom. So it was just like, okay, I didn't see this and thought, so it was kind of full circle. And I don't think you were familiar with the image. But I had to kind of like pick and choose which images would kind of correlate with their bodies of work.
All right, ladies, I wish we had more time, but thank you so much for coming. I can't believe we're talking 10 years of this. Where was Sisi? It feels like it was just the other day, you know, when we're talking about it. Ladies, thank you so much. Good luck with your work going forward. Okay, those are our guests this morning telling us about the exhibition, Your Beauty is My Concern. All right.